Have you ever felt your words losing value? Have you ever felt the need to screech and scream so that someone just listens to you? Have you ever felt that your family members, friends, or colleagues or boss misinterprets whatever you say? Most of the times, we use the right words, but the words said in the wrong tone might convey the wrong meaning. Hereby, you lose a golden chance to convey your feelings or negotiate, right? Hey, my awesome learners, I'm your host, Saili. Welcome to my podcast. I hear you. I'm here to help you overcome the challenge of the tone in which you speak with others to be best understood and vice versa. I'm sure you fail to understand the other person if they convey certain words with wrong tone too. For example, when someone says, "I am sorry," in a falling tone, repeat after me, "I am sorry." Repeat after me, "I'm sorry." In a falling tone, it might sound to you that a person is rude. If the person says, "I'm sorry," in a rising tone, it might sound that a person is not so serious. The best tone that a person should use to convey the right meaning is falling rising tone. "I am sorry," so that you get the message right, isn't it? So, intonation refers to the variation in the direction of the pitch of the voice of the speaker. So, unlike stress on words and sentence that we learnt in a last podcast, intonation helps bring out the meaning of a sentence clearly. What we say depends largely on how we say it and the tone that we adopt. Intonation helps us to understand 4 basic attributes of speech: meaning of the sentence, attitude of the speaker, relationship between the speaker and the spoken to, and the situation. In English language, intonations are of 3 types: rising intonation, falling intonation, falling rising intonation. Rising intonation means the pitch of the voice increases. Falling intonation is the pitch of the voice decreases. Falling rising intonation means there is a variation in the pitch of the voice down and rise. Now here's a request, keep a pen and a paper handy. I'm going to teach the rules of intonation. Also practice with me, alright? Are you ready? Say bring it on. Let's get set go. Let's get started with falling intonations. When we face definite situations, we speak in a definite tone. Falling intonation means we use a falling tone while speaking. We can make best use of falling intonation to convey the following emotions or situations like, the first situation is ordinary statement like, "I have completed my work." Repeat after me, "I have completed my work." Sun rises in the east. Repeat after me, "Sun rises in the east." This signals the listener that a sentence is complete. We have used falling intonation. The second scenario is where routine questions are asked. We are using falling intonation here. Like WH questions in situations like routine asking of questions posed by a census collector or in a municipal office. Questions like, "What's your name? How old are you? Where's your house?" These questions are asked in a falling intonation to collect certain information, alright? The third scenario is command or order or authoritative tone. "Please shut the door." Repeat after me, "Please shut the door." This sentence looks as if it is a request, but if the sentence is spoken with a falling tone, it acquires an authoritative tone and becomes a command. Here's a tip to sound commanding but not angry. We should avoid shouting and try to speak in a falling tone to sound more authoritative. Example, "Please shut the door." The next scenario is question tag situation. Question tag is used to invite the interest of the listener. For example, "Tomorrow is Monday, isn't it?" Tomorrow is Monday, isn't it? We use a falling tone at "isn't it." Here the speaker expects the listener to confirm the statement. The speaker uses a falling tone for a question tag when he or she is sure that a remark made is correct and expects the listener to agree. Now, I want to share a pro tip here. Question tag is used as a polite phrase to invite the interest of the listener. Okay? Now, counting sequence or last item on a list. Example, when we count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. The last number always has a falling tone, while all numbers have a rising tone. Also in the list, rice, flour, oil and dal. Dal is the last item in the list and hence it gets a falling tone. Alright, now that you have learnt under what situations and emotions you can use falling tone, now let's learn what kind of emotions are conveyed using a rising tone. Are you ready for it? Say bring it on. The first scenario where rising intonation is used is warmth and friendliness. So here WH questions are asked in a rising tone. First situation, when a student comes late, the principal might ask him a routine question. Why are you late? With a falling tone. Second situation, his classmate and friends who are worried about him might ask him the same question with a rising tone. Hey, why are you late? Second scenario, WH question to ask yes or no question. We will get up early tomorrow. Will you? The expected answer is yes or no. Hence we used a rising tone for will you? The third scenario, request made in a way that they are granted. Rising tone is better suited for this purpose. Example, could I use your telephone? With a rising intonation, the neighbor can allow you to use the telephone, right? On the contrary, if a falling tone is used, could I use your telephone? Chances are high that the neighbor won't allow to use the telephone next time. Why? Because a falling tone conveys command. Alright. I'm sure you have noticed the emotion and the purpose. The fourth scenario. Incomplete sentences are spoken with a rising tone. Okay? For example, I went to the market. Repeat after me. I went to the market. Market gets a rising tone. Why? I'll just tell you. It is said with a rising tone intonation. The sentence would have a comma after it, indicating that it is not a complete sentence. Whereas, if it is said with a falling tone, we assume a period after the sentence. Repeat after me. I went to the market. It is assumed that it has a period because it is in a falling tone. Similarly, if I say it in this way, I went to the market, that means there's a comma after the sentence, pardon me, and the sentence is not complete. Next scenario where a rising tone is used. A rising tone is used in a question tag where the remark is tentative and uncertain. For example, this pen is yours, isn't it? Or we needn't wait for him, need we? Repeat after me. This pen is yours, now rise your pitch, isn't it? Second question, we needn't wait for him, need we? Repeat after me. We needn't wait for him, need we? Here the speaker seeks the listener's assurance that his or her remark is correct. Now let's stop a while for a fun tongue twister. The tongue twister is road, roller, roller, roller. Let's see how many times you could say this. Max count is 5. You score a 5 if you get 5 right. Mention your score in the comment section after you have listened to this podcast, alright? Let's begin. Road, roller, 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 road, roller, 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 road, roller, 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 road, roller, 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 road, roller, roller, roller. Awesome, great job. Now we are left with falling rising intonation. Say bring it on loud and clear if you want to know falling rising intonation. Alright. So in English language, the continuous speech has falling rising intonation. To convey different emotions, this intonation is used widely. Let's take the example of the word sorry. If you use falling intonation to say I'm sorry, we might sound rude or arrogant, right? Repeat after me, I'm sorry. If you use a rising intonation to say I'm sorry, we might sound too cheerful and hardly seem to be apologizing, right? Repeat after me, I'm sorry. Does this sound convincing? Not to me. Hence, a falling rising intonation is more appropriate. I am sorry. Your I gets the stress, that is the rising intonation, and sorry gets a falling intonation. Repeat after me. I am sorry. Does this sound more convincing? Right. We can conclude that in apology statements, doubt statements, unpleasant news statements, an uncertain voice quality is given to such statements. Hence, the falling rising intonation is best suited to convey such emotions, alright? So let's practice these apology statements, doubt statements, and unpleasant news statements. We are using falling rising intonation here. Alright, let's go ahead. The first statement let's practice a doubt statement with a falling rising tone. Are you sure we will reach on time? Repeat after me. Are you sure we will reach on time? Here the rising intonation is on sure. Rest is in falling intonation. Now let's take example of unpleasant situation. He cursed his luck and decided to sell the trees along with the farm. Repeat after me. Here the rising intonation is on cursed his luck, okay? He cursed his luck and decided to sell the trees along with the farm. We have got to identify the main pitch in the sentence and apply rising intonation on that. Okay? Now, for example of news statement. Narendra Modi is elected as the Prime Minister of India for the third time. Repeat after me. Narendra Modi is elected as the Prime Minister of India for the third time. The rising intonation goes on third time. Great job. Now I will say in the end that practice till you get the tone right. Trust me when I say if you practice the sentences with examples and mimic my podcast, the examples that I use in my podcast, you will do a huge favor to your fluency in English language. Out of compassion, do rate my podcast, share my podcast with your family, friends or colleagues. If you find an exit poll, do spare some few minutes to give your response and do comment. Hey, see you soon with another podcast episode to Ace Your Talk.